Okay, so the path to PBR in Blender Game Engine. So we add an object to the scene that has an environment map on it, right here. The environment map is a cube map, and it's real time. So this one's pretty small. It's a 96 by 64. And then we run mip-map filtering. This is very important that you enable this because it makes LOD bias work. So once that's enabled, when you're in another texture, so here's that reflection being used again somewhere else, here. This reflection is actually using so it is using this guy, proto actor. So his origin, which is right here, is where the cube map is being generated from. So when I hit go, you can see there's the cube map sample. And then here is the cube map sample with LOD bias applied. So with and without. So we use the view vector reflected off the normal, and that gives us the reflection coordinate. So if you're using a normal map for something, you're going to want to use that. And a way to get at that, we add in an input material, extended material. This has the normals, the outgoing normals for an object that you could send in tangent space. Bloop. And it uses that instead. So that's really important to gather the reflection itself. Now we come for the Frenzel term. So we take this, we add in a material. If you're not going to be using normals, regular material is cheaper. Just say a new material. We add in a mix node, mix RGB, and then we hook up the reflection, and then for the mix value, we need another math node, and we use, again, the view vector and the normal, and we use the dot product as the mix value. So now, more towards the center is mixed in less, and more towards the edges is mixed in more. So this is backwards. There we go. So right now you can't see the reflection at all. I add a multiplier here. I'm going to crank this down to like 0.1. So now it's almost all reflection. So this is our index of refraction, basically. So along the edges, the texture is mixed in much greater than along the center. We could change this to something easier to see. But basically, that's the Frenzel. If we want to turn off specular, because we're gathering the specular. I forgot about that. So there it is. We can crank up the roughness. And now the reflections are still there, they're just blurred a lot, so it makes it a little harder to see. But that's true specular reflection. Now the important thing about this is, say this guy's outside, we have environmental lighting. This is going to be kind of blown out because of my bloom. But you see now his reflection is from the environment. It's not faked. So if he changes rooms, the reflection changes. So automatically just from that probe. So if we cut the darkness, now it's just kind of gray and it's all from this internal indoor lighting. And you can see how this is the probe. So his whole reflection changes. I can also adjust the brightness of the reflection. Some might call this specularity, I think. So I can crank it down, and now his reflection is darker. It's a little bit more physically accurate. But you can still see it quite a bit on those leading edges. Like right here is this lamp. It's red on this side, green over here, red back here, and it's all pretty accurate. So there is UPBGE looking closer to Eevee. It's not perfect. I'm not using spherical harmonics for my roughness, I don't think. The approximation, I have to look in. I think it might be Schlick's approximation, but it might not be. So my roughness might not be 100% accurate. But right now it already looks a lot better to me than the default render. I could also use parallax correction with like more than one probe and have like different lighting at the top of his head and the bottom of his feet. Eventually. Thanks for watching.